Time once again for the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast. Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, Soren Petro with you. We will talk about the free agents, the unrestricted free agents for the Kansas City Chiefs. Who should the Chiefs be looking at keeping? What is the market price for them? Can they afford it? We'll do it with both the offense and the defense. We'll do it right now on the Red, Gold, and Bold.
You are listening to the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast, the most in-depth analysis of the Kansas City Chiefs on planet Earth, breaking down the Chiefs like no one else can. Red, Gold, and Bold is hosted by Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro. Jeff Chadiha is a senior columnist and on-air personality for the NFL Network and NFL.com. Sam McDowell is a columnist for the Kansas City Star. Soren Petro is the afternoon drive host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. The Red, Gold, and Bold podcast is proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot. Now, here are the hosts of the Best Chiefs podcast, Jeff Chadiha, Sam McDowell, and Soren Petro.
Thank you very much, Curtis. We do appreciate it. Let's discuss the free agents, the unrestricted free agents for the Kansas City Chiefs. We've got some valuations here. We got those from Over the Cap, so these are going to be the numbers we use for the players. We're basically just going to go through both offense and defense, talk about the player, what the valuation is, whether or not the Kansas City Chiefs should be looking to bring the player back for that number. We'll talk a little bit about how the contract might, vary, those kind of things as well. But that's basically the game we're going to play. So, gentlemen, let's start on the offense. Let's start with the most expensive guy, Travis Kelce. Over the cap, has his valuation at $13.6 million. Jeff, are you bringing Travis Kelce back?
No, at that number, no. He's had a phenomenal career. He's a Hall of Famer. One of the top 3 tight ends of all time. You can even argue he's the best tight end ever if you want to, but at this stage, they got to start moving forward with this team. And to spend that kind of money on a tight end, the only way I'm even thinking about Travis Kelce if that number is under $10 million. And I just think it's time for this offense to move forward. And if he's here, Mahomes is going to look for him. Other guys who need to develop won't be developing, and that's a huge price to pay for a player who's probably, at best, 1 year left.
Yeah, I'm kind of with the same mindset, Sam. I mean, I don't, listen, we all love our Travis Kelce time, but I think it's multifaceted. I think Jeff hit on it. Part of it is like, does the offense actually grow? Can you actually change the offense if you don't change some of the key parts? And I think Travis Kelce could play in a lot of different styles of offense, but it just seems like to me if he's around in this scenario and you're paying this kind of money, you're going to feed him the ball. And I think you've got to start finding more playmakers out there, start finding a different way to play. And I think if you have Travis Kelce, you want to just keep feeding Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I mean, and part of that is just about the other talent that you have. I mean, I think the major issue the Chiefs had last year is he was their best option. Like, that can't be the case whether Travis Kelce is in your building or not. He cannot be the best option that your quarterback has to throw the ball to. He'll be 37 in October. There's only one tight end in NFL history that has more than 529 yards in a season at age 37 or older, and it was Tony Gonzalez. Had, I think, like 800 at 37. I do think he's learned his lesson as far as the difference in having your body prepared versus not having your body prepared. You would get the better version of him for that sense, but this would make him a top 5 paid tight end, and you can't have him pay. I kind of thought, let's go through this exercise.
Okay.
Let's say we're 3 teams. I own a team, or I'm GM of a team. Jeff, you're GM of a team. Stren, we're bidding for Travis Kelce. I'd say I'd pay him $7 million. Is one of you two out bidding me at 7? Am I going to have to pay more?
I mean, am I on another team or am I on the Chiefs? If I'm the Carolina Panthers or a young team, I bring that up. A young team that's on the come, that's trying to turn the corner.
Let's say a team with similar cap restraints.
No.
as the Chiefs.
No chance.
You're not outbidding seven. Are you outbidding $7 million, Jeff?
No.
I'm not giving a veteran minimum. I'm not doing it. Like, I would have entered this year with Travis. This is the end, right? Let's go out. Let's go win a championship. Let's do this right. And when it didn't happen, I'd slap him on the back and move on, because I have a plan for where I'm going. I have a plan for 26 and 25. I had a plan for 26 and 27. And you can always, no battle plan survives combat, but he wasn't part of the plan for 26. And I've seen nothing about the performance of the team. And frankly, his performance, which was good. And I like your point about the stats, Sam, but I think, I used to quote the numbers like Peyton Manning, why he was going to be a flop at the Broncos, because no one his age had big years. Well, except for he'd been better than everybody that had been that age before then. So, and I think you can expect Kelce to be kind of Tony Gonzalez-esque.
I agree.
800 yards. So you can expect him to be right in that ballpark, which is what he did last year. But that's not good enough for this team. And I think you're just – I don't see what's changing if all the pieces are the same.
Yeah, and Gonzalez was playing on offense in Atlanta when he had those numbers that had Julio Jones and Roddy White and Michael Turner. It was a loaded offense, so he was like the third option in the passing game, maybe the fourth best player on the offense. That's what he needs to be on this team, the fourth best player. But he can't. And you also have to wonder how a diminished Patrick Mahomes will lean on him even more if he's not as mobile as he used to be. If the other receivers are opening up in the way it could be a huge problem.
The other thing is Tony Gonzalez was always going to age well because his catch radius was huge. Mm-hmm. And that changes less than your speed and your ability to move and wiggle and get open and the ability to move after the catch, which has always been the elite strength that Travis Kelce's had his whole career.
Yeah. All right. So none of us are bringing Kelce back at that number. You would be interested, Sam, at a lower.
I'm the only one that said half that number.
Yeah.
That's why I started at that number, because it's about half.
Yeah. All right. Hollywood Brown. Do we want to just lump the positions together?
That's fine.
And do them all kind of as a group, or do you want me to go one by one, Sam?
Well, I think there's a few enough on offense we can go one by one.
Okay.
I think we're gonna.
We'll stack them by.
I think we might have some similarities in our responses to some of these.
Yeah. Marquise Brown, $6.2 million.
No.
Yeah. That's a big thumbs down for me. For those that are catching it on the podcast and not seeing it on the stream, which you can be a part of. Fridays 10 a.m.
That sound still came through, I think.
The sound did. No way am I giving $6.2 million to Marquise Brown. And he wasn't awful.
No, he was better than most people thought. He had 49 catches, his best yards per route run in like 5 years. His passer rating when throwing to him was 104.3 this year. But this is what we talked about on Tuesday night. Like, you've got to move on from guys that you're comfortable with. And to me, this is a good example of that.
What was he paid last year? What was his last year?
About this number.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, with incentives that could have taken it back over 10, and then I don't think he had any of them. So, all right. So, across the board, no.
0. Yeah.
JuJuSmtih-Schuster, $4.7 million.
No, that's an easy one.
Yeah, the easiest.
Gone.
One of the easiest ones on the sheet.
Yeah.
I also won't be shocked if one or both of those guys are back at more of like a league minimum. Right? I think didn't Juju play for like the league minimum? Let me look at what the number was for Juju in 2025. Juju was changed 2 filters, so it's going to take a second here. Juju was 1.2 was his base. Was his base. Let me make sure. His cap hit was no, that was his cap hit, 1.2. Like, he's not getting $4 million.
I don't know where that valuation comes from.
No chance. I'd bring him back on a veteran minimum to fill out the wide receiver spots if I need it. All right. Next most expensive, Kareem Hunt. They're putting it $4.2 million.
We might differ on this one. I don't think he should be back. I think you can find a running back to do what he does and who can do more than just be a short yardage specialist for you. He's been great at that, and hats off to him for turning his career around, but it's time to get younger, and to rely on a guy at that age to do a very specialized thing doesn't make sense.
What about on half of that? For half that price? Because his price last year, they had him back at 1.5. If he'll come back veteran minimum, now are you interested?
No, not at that age.
I'm in on the league minimum. I'm not giving him 4.
Yeah, that's where I am. I mean, he's the most successful short yardage back in football, which is a problem that we talked about with this team for 3 of the previous 4 years. Like, he has value, and this, I'm telling you, their short yardage woes are going to be a topic of our conversation if they can't not convert by just running the ball up the middle. At this price, I would ask, who's my competition? Who is paying him anywhere near that number?
Well, do you feel comfortable with him if your starter gets hurt, being your best running back, or you think Brashard Smith is an option? That's how I'm looking at it.
It's a good point. Good point. He's got to take up a roster spot. I will say they've kept 4 running backs plenty of times, including this last season.
Yeah, I mean they have a lot of work to do at running back, and that's why I'm definitely keeping him on the speed dial list. And Kareem, if you can get $4 million, by all means, go do it. But if you can't, then we're going to be interested in bringing you back, because I do think that they have a lot of work to do at the running back spot. I mean, so I don't know that they won't be in a spot where they just they have no choice. But like you said, we got to cut ties with the familiar. You should be able to find other guys. That's going to be a common theme here. So, but yeah, I think he's a possibility, but not at that number. Tyquan Thornton, $3.2 million.
I'd take him at that. I like what he brought to the team. I thought that he was the one guy who legitimately was a reliable deep threat. Now he's got limitations in other areas, but he made the most big plays in the passing game given his opportunities, and I'll take that at that number any day.
Will that get it done, Sam, or is he a New York Giant playing for Matt Nagy?
Yeah, I don't think that would get it done. And to me, that's the bigger point of this. And I will say, so OTC has separate projections than they do as opposed to valuations. And I haven't looked up their projection for Tyquan Thornton, but my guess is that they're anticipating he's going to get paid more than that. I mean, this isn't he wasn't the solution the Chiefs needed, but he was at least part of it. I mean, he still finished 17th in the NFL in downfield yards this year. He's the 13th most targeted receiver downfield, despite all those other guys on that list are playing a lot more snaps than what he's paying this year. I think he needs to become a fuller receiver and, to be frank, a thicker receiver. But he had some value this year. If you go through the Chiefs' biggest catches of the year and the most impressive catches of the year, he's got the top 2 or 3 on the list, I think.
Well, I mean, I think the question is, why did they go away from him?
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part. Like, if I'm the personnel guy, I want him, but I'm asking my coaches, if I go get this guy, are you going to play him, or is he going to sit on the bench? Like, what are you going to do with him? Right? Isn't that one of the problems they had there?
Yeah, I mean, especially like I said, my guess is their answer to that. By the way, they do not have him on the top 100 free agents listed. They do have Hollywood Brown at 88. My guess is that their answer to that would be they thought Xavier Worthy could provide that, but Thornton produced. He wasn't an optimistic thought to fill the downfield passing game. He was fulfilling the need of the downfield passing game.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. All right, let's move along. Isiah Pacheco, $1.8 million. Jeff, would you like to lead, or?
No, he's gone. He's gone. I mean, it's we talking the money here or just the player?
Both.
Yeah,
the whole equation. What do you see?
Either way, I mean,
do you want him back at a certain number, or no?
I do not want him back at any number. There's no number that could work for me with him. I just think it's time to move forward, and you've seen what he can do for you. He's declined every year, and it's not going to get better.
Is he on an NFL roster in Week 1 next year?
Yes.
On a 53, not a practice squad. He's on it. He's on. I think more likely than not, but I think it's 65-35. I would say that he's on an NFL roster.
I think he's on an NFL roster. Elijah Mitchell was on an NFL roster this year. He's had more production recently than Elijah Mitchell, and Elijah Mitchell got $2.5 million from the Chiefs. So I think that someone will need a back, and they will get him. And he's a Super Bowl. There's Super Bowl highlights to put out there, and so I think he will get signed. I think a bad team will sign him for $3 million.
He'll definitely get signed. He will definitely be in a camp.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll just be a league minimum camp invite. I think he'll get signed for $3 million. I think they'll have a press conference for signing him, and it will be a
Wow.
mistake.
Wow. You don't see him being Damian Pierce?
It might be him and two other guys that they've signed, and okay, we're going to bring these guys out, like a Chiefs one at a time at the podium type of thing, something. But yeah, I think I think somebody's gonna be like, okay, for something speed, we'll see. We should be able to do some of this. He had some productive. I think somebody's gonna think they can teach him to catch, and that's gonna be the idea. And I think if anybody, if I were Brett Beach, talking about the roster, and any coach in the room said, well, we're going to really work on getting him to catch, I would slap them, right? I would slap the taste out of their mouth, because you've had 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
I mean, 3.8 yards a carry over the last 2 years combined, and unbelievably favorable running conditions compared to the way defenses like to play him. I agree with Jeff that he cannot be back.
Yeah, he cannot be back. All right, Gardner Minshew, is he your backup quarterback at $1.4 million?
That's a tougher one. I mean, there's a recency bias here, but I would think that they'd be looking at a more high upside player given Mahomes' situation. The number's doable. I just didn't like what I saw from him when he played. I mean, he didn't play a whole lot, but what I saw, it wasn't really moving the meter for me. So I'll say no. Sam?
Yeah, I agree with Jeff that the freshest memory you have in your mind is he was awful in that Titans game before he got hurt.
Yes.
I think when you look at the whole body of work of his career, he started a lot of games, and if you need him to start the first couple games, you could do worse than that price for that experience.
I did not see it there, and maybe this offense is just a bad fit for him. I don't know what it is. I didn't see it. I'm looking real hard, and I'm looking real hard for somebody who can run a quarterback sneak. I want a big quarterback.
They had one.
Well,
Carson Wentz was the best quarterback sneak guy in the NFL.
They didn't use him.
They didn't use him.
So I mean, but we're going to use him in my brave new world. No, I'm not going to do it, and I would not be adverse to them. Jacoby Brissett would be my perfect guy, but he's under contract still. But like a couple of year deal for a guy that's bigger, stronger, and has had some starts would be my ideal world. Otherwise, we're all in on 15, and we're going to just eat it on the cap, and I'll take a league minimum veteran of any kind in there at the quarterback position. Robert Tonyan, 1-1, tight end. Jeff?
No. I mean, they didn't do anything. I had higher hopes for him. I think in my bold and daring predictions, I said he was going to actually catch a few touchdown passes. So I don't see where he's got a place really in this offense. But they don't do anything with the guys ahead of him hardly. So yeah, they can find somebody else younger and cheaper to play that spot to be your fourth tight end.
If you had even said a couple of yards, he would have been off on that. I think he had 1 yard this year. Robert Tonyan is the perfect example of the lesson is to stop getting excited about the third tight end in training camp, because it just doesn't end up mattering.
Yeah.
It's every year. It's Jody Fortson. It's Robert Tonyan. Every year there's some tight end that everybody loves, and guess what happens? They don't play.
I can't wait to be sweating bullets up in St. Joe, and somebody's going to bring up the third tight end, and Sam is going to be like, just stop. Just enough. I will hear that speech again in a hot tent in St. Joe. And Dameon Pierce is on there. And I mean, whatever you want to do. I mean, if you want to practice squad Dameon Pierce, fine, but I'm not. He was available when he was available for a reason, as far as I'm concerned.
I do think, though, those are the types of guys they should bring into camp. Guys with talent, very cheap cost. This has them at $600 to $700,000, something like that. Some experience. You should be prioritizing a guy with that age over the experience of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, for example, on your practice squad.
And as a footnote, Mike Caliendo is a restricted free agent. They're valuing him at $1.1 million. I've seen enough. If he wants to play for the league minimum, fine.
Yeah.
But because somebody's got to take that spot. But I think depth-wise, I think we might be all right to where it's time to move on after we saw some of the young guys play. I think that's probably reality. All right, the defensive side of the ball, we'll get to that after you hear from our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, proudly serving the greater Kansas City area. Nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor. Locally owned and making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Let Gann educate you about the most cost-effective way to solve your parking lot problems. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews. Every project comes with a written warning. Gann Asphalt keeps your parking lot safer and helps you and your business avoid unnecessary delays and costly expenses. Find Gann online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot.
This episode of Red, Gold, and Bold is brought to you by Frontier Justice, where freedom is a lifestyle grounded in safety, responsibility, and respect. With locations in Lee Summit, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, and Jenks, Oklahoma, Frontier Justice offers firearms retail, a premier indoor shooting range, and training all under one roof. Whether you're new to shooting or a seasoned pro, you'll find expert staff, top-tier gear, and a strong sense of community. Faith, family, freedom. That's what Frontier Justice stands for. Visit frontier-justice.com to learn more.
All right, defensive side of the ball, up at the top, Jaylen Watson, $15.1 million. You're not signing him for a one-year deal at $15.1 million. Sam, how do you view Jaylen Watson in this environment?
I think this is about where he lands. I think he could get a little bit more than this, but you develop this position better than you develop any position on the field. Trust what you're good at, because you can get this for cheaper because of your defensive coordinator's ability to develop defensive backs and your defensive backs coach's ability to develop this position. So I'd let him go for that reason, because you're really good at taking young talent like Jaylen Watson, a 7th-round pick, and making them into something. I just trust your ability to do it.
Yeah, first of all, I think it's going to take multiple years. It's going to take a big signing bonus. The money is simply not there, Jeff. I mean, unless you think like, hey, 15 for him, trade Trent McDuffie, okay, and that's our path. We'll backload and we get it 3 for 45, 4 for 60 with an out after 3 for 45-ish on it. Like that, I guess, would be the path to getting it done. But I just don't. I think the Chiefs are going to take Sam's advice. We're good at developing these guys. We're moving.
Yeah, and he's going to look a lot better as a guy playing on a 7th-round pick salary than a guy paying on that kind of money, right? I mean, it's like L'Jarius Sneed looked great when he was a 4th-round pick. I'm sure Tennessee's like, what do we do? What do we do here? And so he's not going to have L'Jarius Sneed's knee problems, but I definitely think he's had a great year for what he was. I was not his biggest fan. He proved me wrong, but you can't be paying him that kind of money with your salary cap situation.
All right.
It's not Tennessee asking that question. It's guys at home now,
Yeah.
by the way.
That's right.
How about Bryan Cook at $7.3 million? Sam, where are you at on Bryan Cook?
He's got to get paid more than that, right?
I agree. I think so.
I think that Bryan Cook is somebody who you probably let go this offseason, but if it's that number, I'd bring him back, because I think that's a good deal for Bryan Cook. I just don't think that's what he wants. And that is the discrepancy I talked about earlier with, they projected Bryan Cook's contract, I think, more like at 3 for 45, even though this is what they have his value at.
Yeah. He's going to be definitely overvalued. And again, a guy who's grown up in this defense, played his best season in his last year, but again, they've been able to swap out guys. They found Justin Reed after Tyrann Mathieu left. Jaden Hicks has got to figure it out. They'll find somebody else to play that spot.
Yeah, I feel kind of the same way about the safety spot as I do the corner, that they will find a way to make it work. All right, let's get to Charles Omenihu. $6.2 million is the valuation on Charles Omenihu, Sam. They're
really valuing his last month of the season, I think, because you look at the metrics on Charles Omenihu, it measures your get off, how quickly you get off the line of scrimmage. Slowest of his career this last year, and that stuff is like hundredths of a second slower, but that's how quickly that stuff matters. 45th among D linemen, and by the way, some edge rushers count as like Nick Benito count as technically linebackers and things like that. So 45th isn't even as high as it seems. I mean, he had 11 quick pressures all year, and I think 4 of them were in the very last game of the season against the Raiders. He's just like, this is where you have to get better. And it's a third of that I think is even a question. I mean, 6.2 is really high for Charles Omenihu.
Yeah, this is a Steve Spagnuolo guy, long, lean, like it's his type of guy. How do you handle it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he's gotten more mileage out of the first year he played here than any other player I've ever seen. Because I thought even when he was hurt and coming back, I was just like, he's not going to be the same player. And maybe that knee injury was the end of it for him, but he was awful the first half of the season, first 75% of the season. Like Sam said, it's just like it was a question of why you didn't even know he was in games sometimes. And so I definitely feel like this is not a move where this to me is a no-brainer. It's not even close.
Yeah, no, pass. I'm taking him away from this. To me is like when they had all the young defensive backs. Steve Spagnuolo had no option but to play him. No, I am not going to leave this option there for him to have to use. It will be gone to make sure that we are moving on to younger players and maybe even a different type of skill set with those players. Here we get to the big one that I think is going to be difficult for some people. Leo Chenal, $3.8 million is his value. Sam, what do you think on Leo Chenal?
I agree with you. This is the tough one. I really don't know what Leo Chenal ends up with. I could see him at like the 2 for $11 type of range, maybe, or something, because he doesn't play a ton. He's not great in coverage, but I'd like to call him underrated, but so many people call Leo Chenal underrated that I'm not sure you're allowed to use the term if everyone's using it with him. I think if I can get him at this price of 3.8 for 1 year, I say yes.
Do you think that that's a reasonable?
No, I don't. I think he gets more than this. If he only signs for 1 year, I think he's probably getting more than 5.
I think we're going to be blown away by the number that Leo Chenal gets. I think there's going to be a market for him. I think there are going to be teams that play a 3-4 that have a bigger vision for him and what his role can be. I might be wrong, but
he might too, Soren, by the way. He might think exactly what you just said.
I think, if like, I don't know who's the DC in Pittsburgh now. I don't know. They're going to change that, but if they're still in a 3-4, and I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I can't wait to get my hands on this guy and bring him in and take a look. Anyone running a Belichick type of 3-4, I love him in that kind of defense.
He's a Kyle Van Noy type guy. That's exactly how I see him.
Yeah. I mean, I think this number is way low. I think he's going to get multiple years, and I think that will make the decision for the Chiefs. I think they'd love to have him. I think they'll stay in touch with him. If people don't come for him, they'll end up with him. They'll find the way to make the room at that number. But I think somebody's going to come in and we're going to be like, really? I mean, he just got, 3 for 24. Like, okay, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I think something like that's is going to be coming. Well, I will say I saw it coming because I just said it on that one. So.
He's the youngest guy on this list. On defense.
Yeah. And people love that part of the equation as well. All right. Jack Cochran, 1 for 2.7. Sam?
No.
Jeff? No. Jerry Tillery, make joke at 1.5 million? No.
That's easy. No.
Josh Williams, 1.2 million, cornerback? No. Derek Nottie.
That's your guy.
467,000.
No. Floor is yours.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, what do you? I mean, I've done this bit a number of times. Najee Johnson, I actually think there is some consideration. They got him at 233, which is below the minimum.
Yeah, below the minimum. So not going to happen. But I agree with you. Yes is my answer to Najee Johnson. I think if you can get him at the very minimum, good special teams player, and what we have the liberty to ignore that the Chiefs do not as they go through this exercise is you got to fill out your roster. You have to have depth on your roster. The Joshua Williams and the Najee Johnsons are not projected starters. You've got to fill out your roster somehow. And you don't have that many picks this year, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Mike Pennell, no. Time to move on. And I'm president of the Mike Pennell fan club. But time to move forward. Anybody? No? Any takers on Mike Pennell?
No.
Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards.
Well, he's interesting just because they have no safeties outside of Jaden Hicks, right? I guess
that's right.
If you want to talk Jamari Conner or those other guys.
Mike, let me preface it this way and people know where this is going afterwards. Unbelievably great guy to talk to in the locker room. I mean, super nice guy. there might be some guys that like UCM that are running faster than Mike Edwards is. I mean, he's just not fast enough for that position. His mind is fast enough to operate what he's seen. His body can't keep up with it.
Yeah. I will tell you that I'm interested if we can't find somebody else. Like, I'm interested in a practice squad spot. I do like Mike Edwards, the player, or the guy. I think the time has probably passed him by, but if I can't find better, somebody's got to be there. Deion Bush, no, coming off injury. Anybody? No.
No.
So, I mean, so really, did we have a realistic yes on anybody? Like, if the market doesn't get it on Chenal, he could be back.
Tyquan Thornton offensively. I think we all thought Bryan Cook's number was too low. Soren, that was my takeaway when I went through this exercise. And obviously the three of us had these names beforehand and had our answers ahead of time. And I think it's what we all think this team needs, which is to move on from a lot of guys. Like, this era needs to be in the past, and you've got to revamp your roster. And the only way you can revamp the roster is to create openings on your roster first.
Yeah.
Competition.
Now, how many of them will be back? I'll tell you. Kelce will be back. Kelce's got a decent chance. Kareem Hunt. I think Tyquan Thornton will be priced out.
You think Kelce's coming back?
Yes.
I think you could have Kelce. I agree with you on Juju for the vet minimum. I think it would be a possibility. And maybe Kareem Hunt. I think you're looking at a max of 3 probably on offense.
I think Nadi's got a shot. You talk about his depth.
I think he does. I think he does have a shot.
Yeah.
They've done it multiple times. They traded a pick for him.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sake.
Sven, would you rather have only Nadi back or everyone on this list except for Nadi back?
Yeah.
None. I can walk on the entire list and say, let's go. I mean, honestly, I think there's a chance Bryan Cook, the market doesn't materialize, that they see on film some of the shortcomings that we've seen, and the market doesn't materialize, and he could be back because somebody's got to play safety. So I think there's a chance Bryan Cook is back. I think they think they will want to believe that there's a chance Leo Chenal is going to be back. I think the rest of football will dictate that for him. And I think Najee Johnson might be back.
I do think you also laid out the scenario for Jaylen Watson's possibility, but to me, it's the only scenario that Jaylen Watson is you trade Trent McDuffie and don't want to go into the season with Christian Fulton as your second cornerback.
Yeah. I think that has to materialize pretty quick, though, doesn't it? I mean, you got to get Trent McDuffie traded.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it has to happen before free agency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you can sign Jaylen Watson and then count on trading Trent McDuffie.
Oh, no, you're not gonna be in line at the new year in that sense, because I mean, part of trading a guy is that you dump the salary. He's not part of your technical roster when the new year starts, right? Was that 2 days before free agency opens?
Yeah. $13 million number. You can't be carrying. I mean, even if you backload things and signing bonus, which they don't do a lot of signing bonus, you can get that number down to 7 or 8, but that's adding. That's a number that's not there, and they're already 50 plus over. So they've got a lot of work to do on that cap. So, yeah, it does not look like so I think you didn't answer, Jeff. Do you think Kelce's back?
I'm on the fence about it, but maybe the longer it goes on, he's got to make a decision here pretty fast here. But the longer it goes on, the more it feels like he might be coming back.
Okay, Sam?
Yeah, first of all, I don't know, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying he will or won't be, but better than 50-50, I guess I would say.
Okay, better than 50-50. There it is. Listen, better than 50-50, you get that with Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's best. When it comes to your parking lots, if you own or manage a business, whether you just need simple striping, concrete bumpers, signage, or you need a brand new parking lot for the biggest of businesses, that's Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Making parking lot problems disappear since 1994. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lots, and our friends at Frontier Justice. Lee Summit, Missouri, KCK, Jenks, Oklahoma, 3 locations offering firearm retail, premier indoor shooting range, and training, all under one roof. You can find them online at frontier-justice.com. For Jeff Chadiha from the NFL Network, Sam McDowell from the Kansas City Star, I'm Soren Petro saying thank you very much for joining us here on the Red Gold.